Hey, first grade. Okay, so I am so excited today because guess what we get to do today? We get to start a new unit in math. So far we are in, we just finished unit 11, which is all about two-dimensional shapes. You spent some time learning how to identify shapes, talking about their characteristics using attribute words like sides and vertices. We sorted shapes based off those attributes, and we even got to compose, which means you created new shapes using other shapes. We're going to keep that shape knowledge in our brain because you're going to need it for this unit, but we're going to add on. Okay. Now, this unit, we're in unit 12, and this unit is broken up into two parts. Okay. We're going to focus on the first part this week. And then next week, you will learn the second part. So I'm not even going to worry about that second part because that's not important right now. We're going to do part 1 of unit 12. Part 1 of unit 12 is all about fractions. And I know you're probably thinking, what is a fraction? Friends, a fraction is something, and it's super easy, right? So imagine you have like a peanut butter jelly sandwich, okay? And you get a butter knife, and you and your friend want to share that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you only have one sandwich. You're going to have to cut that sandwich into two different pieces. So that way you get some and your friend gets some. Guess what? That is a fraction. So we're going to spend time this week learning all about fractions. You're going to learn how to identify a fraction, how to create a fraction, how to partition. You'll learn that word in a second, a fraction. It's going to be so much fun. Now I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of learning this week. The video might be a little bit longer than what you're used to. So I need you to focus. If you need to pause me right now, go to the bathroom, get yourself a snack, a bottle of water, whatever you need to do. But I really need you to focus today, tomorrow, and Wednesday because it's a lot of learning in your brain. Okay? So if you need to pause me, click pause now. If not, let's get started. Okay, first grade. So right now you should be able to see my screen and you can see the title of our little presentation, and it's fractions. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but fractions. So in this unit, we're going to learn how to identify and partition equal and unequal parts. Okay. Now, this is going to be similar to last week when you learned like regular and irregular two-dimensional shapes. We're going to look at some different objects and we're going to partition, and I promise you, you'll learn that word in a second. We're going to learn how to partition these shapes into equal parts, right? So back to that peanut butter jelly story, okay? If you were to cut that peanut butter jelly sandwich in you divided it one time, and let's say your piece was bigger than your friend's piece. Is that fair? No. So that would be an unequal partition. Well, let's say you cut it and they're the exact same size. Your piece is the same as your friend's piece. Is that fair? Yes. So that would be an equal partition. That's what we're going to learn today. In this unit, you'll also learn all about fractions, and we're going to talk about the wholes, the halves, and the fourths. Okay. So that's what we do in first grade: wholes, halves, and fourths. Now, let's look at these two shapes. Okay. Right now, just really cold, whatever you think. What do you notice about my two circles that I have on my screen? And you can tell me, go ahead, tell me, what do you notice? Okay, some of you may have said you noticed two circles, two pink circles, right? Some of you may have noticed that you have two pink circles, but there are lines through both of those circles. Okay, now I want you to think about that peanut butter jelly sandwich that we just talked about. Imagine these are like those crustable peanut butter jellies that are round. Imagine that I have two of them and I've cut both of them. Now let's look at this first one. Let me change my color. There we go. Let's look at this first one, okay? Right here. I partitioned that shape into two parts. What do you think that partition word means? If I partitioned it, I cut it, okay? So I went ahead and I partitioned this shape into one time. Now I have two parts, 1, 2, okay? Now what do you notice about those two pieces? Would you say they're equal or unequal? I would think that they're equal because number one looks the same as number two. And if I was going to share an Uncrustable with one of my friends, if those pieces looked like those, I would be happy because that's fair, right? Well, let's look at this other circle, okay? I have a piece here and I have a little piece up there. Think about if you were to share something with your friends, an Uncrustable, a cookie, something. And if your friend got number one and you got number two, is that fair? That is not fair, y'all. I would be so upset if I got the number two piece and my friend got the number one piece. Okay. So that would be an unequal partition or an unequal cut. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Now, today we're spending time doing equal versus unequal. You're going to look at different shapes. We're going to cut them apart, different objects, and we're going to determine when we made that partition or that cut, that slice, was that equal or was it unequal? Okay, so that's your goal. You're going to determine, was it equal or unequal? Okay, let's look at this shape. What do I have on my screen? If you said square, kiss your brain. You're absolutely correct. I know that's a square because it has 4 sides and 4 vertices, and all of those sides are the same size. All those sides are the same size. Okay, so I have a square. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I am going to slice it right down the middle. So I just partitioned it. Okay. Now, I use that word partition, okay? When you partition something, actually go ahead and say partition. Good, okay. When you partition something, you are separating that shape into 2 or more pieces, okay? So I have this square on the screen. I sliced it, but we're fancy first grade, so we're gonna say I partitioned it, and I just made 2 separate pieces, okay? Now, just by looking at my square and the way that I partitioned it, would those pieces represent equal or unequal? They would represent equal, okay? If let's say I had a peanut butter jelly sandwich and my friend got piece number 1 and I got piece number 2, I would be A-okay because those are equal. So the way that we partitioned it is fair. It is equal. Now, let's say I have this delicious chocolate chip cookie, okay? And Miss Hernandez is going to get a piece and you're going to get a piece, okay? So let's go ahead and partition this cookie. Are you ready? Wait a minute. I need you to look at the way that I partitioned it. My side looks bigger than your side. Would you be okay with this? I'm going to take piece 1 to myself, and you could just have piece 2. Is that okay? No, that is not okay, Ms. Hernandez. That is not fair, right? So would the way that I partition this chocolate chip cookie represent equal or unequal? What do you think? Okay, let's see. Now I divided it. Okay, I have my piece, you have your piece. Let's look at those. What does my piece look like? It looks much bigger than your piece, right? It does. Would you be okay with this? I wouldn't if I were you. So the way that I just partitioned this chocolate chip cookie is not equal. I have this buzzer, look. Not equal. That is not fair, Ms. Hernandez. Okay, so let's try this again. I have a chocolate chip cookie. I get a piece. You get a piece. Let me go ahead and partition my cookie. Okay, now look at the way that I partition this cookie. Think about it. I have my piece. You have yours. Are you okay with the sizes of my piece and the size of your piece? Do they look equal? I think they look pretty equal. So would the way that I partition the cookie the second time be equal or not equal? They would be equal. Good job, friends. Get your brain. Okay. So let's look at a different object. What do I have on my screen here? I have a triangle. Very good job. Okay. I know that it's a triangle because I noticed that it has 3 sides and 3 vertices. Okay. Let's go ahead and partition. Remember, we're going to cut or slice, but we're fancy first grade, so we say partition. What am I going to do? I'm going to partition that shape. Are you ready? Oops. Oh, I just partitioned it. Now we're going to make a prediction. Okay. I've already partitioned it. That means I've separated those pieces. Do you think the way that Ms. Hernandez partitioned this triangle is going to be equal or not equal? Show me your thumb. Equal or not equal? Okay, well, let's look at these shapes, okay? I noticed that piece number 1 is much smaller than piece number 2. And if this was, let's say, an ice cream cone, and I said, you can have the top, just the piece number 1, and I'll have piece number 2. Is that equal? Oh, no, that's not equal. No. So this is a not equal partition. No, absolutely not. Okay. Let's look at this. Oh, what do I have here? I have a heart. Now, I know we didn't learn heart when we did 2-dimensional shapes, but you learn heart in pre-K and kinder, and we just know what a heart is, right? Okay, so Ms. Hernandez is going to go ahead and partition this heart. Are you ready? Boom. Partition the heart. Pay attention to both sides. Now, I want you to use your brain. Think about it. Do you think the way that Ms. Hernandez partitioned the heart was equal or not equal? Let's see. Piece number 1 looks a lot similar to piece number 2. They look about the same size. If this was like, let's say a heart cake and I got piece number 1 and you got piece number 2, I think I would be okay with that. Would you? So is this side the same as this side? They are. So would you say equal or not equal? Equal. Very good job. Kiss your brain. Excellent job. Okay, so that is the end of the presentation for today. What you're going to do is you're going to go on to Seesaw and you're going to complete your equal or not equal activity. Pay attention to those sides after it's partitioned. Think about it. Relate it to like food or candy or toys. If one side is more or greater than the other side, that wouldn't be fair, okay? So if it wouldn't be fair and you wouldn't be okay sharing that way and getting that smaller piece, it's going to be equal. But if you would be comfortable sharing with your friend and you both have the same thing, then that would be equal, right? Okay, y'all did so good today. Go on to Seesaw, do your activity, and I will see you tomorrow when we start actual fractions. Bye, first grade.